Hi guys, welcome to the Wrestling Retrospective, and in today's video it's again something new. I know I've been doing a lot of new stuff recently with the retro reviews and the wrestlers of the month, but today I'm going to be doing, for the first time on the channel, a tier list. I'm going to go through the past backlashes and kind of go through the card and explain what matches were good, what matches were bad, what I remember from some of them. Honestly, some of the shows I don't even remember, but yeah, I'm going to go through it, rank them, kind of, all the gist of a tier list. But yeah, again, something new for the channel. If it's something you want to see more often on the channel, do comment below stuff you want me to tier list, or just leave a like on the video as well. It lets me know that you enjoy these tier lists, and we can do more on the channel, especially with Money in the Bank coming up. I could do a list of my top 10, a list of my favourite cash-ins, lists of just my favourite Money in the Bank pay-per-views in general, my favourite Money in the Bank ladder matches, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, do let me know in the comments below, and let's get into the tier list. So starting off with, of course, the first Backlash, which was 1999. Again, do forgive me, as mentioned in the intro, if my eyes aren't directly on the camera all the time. I've got the tier list in front of me, I've got the match card on Wikipedia on the other side of my screen, so do forgive me if I'm not just looking at the camera all the time. But 1999 Backlash, we had the Ministry of Darkness, so Bradshaw, Farouk and Midian took on the Brood, so Christian, Edge and Gangrel. Al Snow and Head defeated Hardcore Holly for the Hardcore Championship. The Godfather defeated the Goldust with the Blue Meanie for to retain the Intercontinental Championship. The New Age Outlaws defeated Jeff Jarrett and Owen Hart to become the new #1 contenders for the WWF World Tag Team Championships. Mankind defeated Big Show with a Boiler Room Brawl. Triple H with China defeated X-Pac. The Undertaker with Paul Bearer defeated Ken Shamrock. And Stone Cold Steve Austin defeated The Rock in a no-holds-barred match to retain the WWE Championship, with Shane McMahon as the special guest referee. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'm not massively familiar with this card as far as it going all the way through. For me, I'd probably put it in okay, just because Triple H vs X-Pac was probably good. Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, I don't think, have never met a match they didn't have that was good. The Brawler Room Brawl between Big Show and Mankind, I think it's just a bit of fun. It's not like a wrestling classic, but at the same time, it's still a pretty decent match for the surroundings, I guess. And yeah, Undertaker vs Ken Shamrock can't have been bad either. So I feel like putting it in the okay point is the best place to put it, in my opinion, just because of again, I'm not massively familiar with the show, and yeah, it just makes the most sense to kind of put the first one in okay. As I said, not massively known, it's not a show that's talked about a lot in the annals of history anyway. But moving on to 2000, definitely a bigger card. We got Edge and Christian defeating Road Dogg and X-Pac to retain the WWF Tag Team Championships. Dean Malenko defeated Scotty 2 Hotty to retain the Light Heavyweight Championship. Bull Buchanan and Big Boss Man defeated the APA. Crash Holly defeated Hardcore Holly, Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, Perry Saturn and Taz in a Hardcore 6-pack challenge to retain the Hardcore Championship. Big Show defeated Kurt Angle. The TNA, so Test and Albert with Trish Stratus, defeated the Dudley Boys. Eddie Guerrero with China defeated S.A. Rios with Lita. Chris Benoit defeated Chris Jericho by disqualification to retain, he retained his Intercontinental Championship. And The Rock, of course, defeated Triple H, who had Vince McMahon and Stephanie McMahon in his corner, with Shane McMahon as specialist referee, to become the new WWF Champion. For me, I do kind of remember fair bits of this show. I remember the TNA and Trish Stratus versus the Dudley Boys match, because the whole feud was built up on Trish and Bubba Ray Dudley. Eddie Guerrero and S.A. Rios, I remember, was a pretty decent match for pretty lower down on the card. But I think what most people remember about the card is The Rock winning the WWE Championship from Triple H. And for me, I'm going to put it in again, but the top of okay. Just because, if it'll let me do it, which it won't, which fair enough. Again, it's an okay card. It's a very long show from what I can tell. Every match goes about 8 minutes plus, apart from Big Show versus Kurt Angle. But yeah, again, it was a decent show. Not a lot of titles changed hand either, but the big one being The Rock winning the WWE Championship being the big one here. And yeah, I feel like as far as like the show goes, as I said, I'm not again massively familiar with it, but this is a pretty decent show from what I can tell. So 2001, again, it's a pretty long show, especially for one of the bigger matches on the card, which we will get to. But no, we had the X Factor, which was Albert, Just Incredible, and X-Pac taking on the Dudley Boys, which was Bubba, Devon, and Spike in a 6-man tag team match. Rhino defeated Raven in a hardcore match to retain the Hardcore Championship. William Regal defeated Chris Jericho in the Duchess of Queensberry Rules match, which was like funny, but like also pretty bad, I'm not gonna lie. Chris Benoit defeated Kurt Angle 4-3 in sudden death overtime in the Ultimate Submission match. So it's pretty much like an Iron Man match, but it's submissions only. Shane McMahon defeated Big Show in a Last Man Standing match. Matt Hardy defeated Christian and Eddie Guerrero to retain the European Championship. And the 2-man power trip, which was, of course, Triple H and Stone Cold Steve Austin, defeated the Brothers of Destruction to become the World Tag Team Champions. Their Triple H's Intercontinental title was on the line, and Stone Cold Steve Austin's WWE title was on the line, like a winner-take-all match. And yeah, this show was actually really good. I remember it really well. I'm going to put it at the top of the good for now, but I might put him at the bottom of best. I remember the main event tag team match being really, really good and like just full of action throughout, and you can kind of tell, even watching it back, that you could tell like the importance behind the 2-man power trip not getting the win, even though they did. Shane McMahon versus the Big Show in Last Man Standing match is a really fun match. You know, seeing Shane McMahon kind of throw himself around, and of course he did a massive spot off the scaffolding onto the top of Big Show and got some help from Test as well. The Duchess of Queensberry Rules match with William Regal and Chris Jericho was more the comedy element of the show. Like, it was utter bollocks, but it was really funny to watch. Rhino versus Raven again is a very good hardcore match. I think that's the one where Rhino goes to gore Raven. He moves out of the way and goes into a shopping trolley, which, you know, is always a bit of fun. I think the only real part I don't like, is what I'm trying to say, is the Ultimate Submission match. For me, I really, really don't like submission matches. I feel like they're really slow and kind of, they don't really help either guy. Like, if you're into that kind of stuff, like, I suppose like if you're into that kind of wrestling, then that's like totally your thing. But for me, it's really not. I don't like massively into submissions and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, for me, not a big fan of that one. But it doesn't really take massively away from the card because everything around it is actually really good. But yeah, moving on to 2002, we've got Tajiri with Tori Wilson, which is a mad sentence. What a weird time it was when Tori Wilson was with Tajiri. He defeated Billy Kidman to win the Cruiserweight Championship. Scott Hall with X-Pac defeated Bradshaw with Farouk. Jazz defeated Trish Stratus to retain the Women's Championship. Brock Lesnar defeated Jeff Hardy with Lita. Kurt Angle defeated Edge. Eddie Guerrero defeated Rob Van Dam to become the new Intercontinental Champion. The Undertaker defeated Stone Cold Steve Austin to become the new number one contender for the WWF Championship. Billy and Chuck with Rico defeated Al Snow and Maven to retain the Tag Team Championships. And Hollywood Hulk Hogan defeated Triple H to become the new WWE Champion. For me, I'm going to put this in meh. I think that's the right poster for it, I think. Yeah, for me, it's the main reason why it's in meh is because of Hulk Hogan. The fact that they gave him the WWE title like in 2002, I think is ridiculous and really didn't help the championship. The match itself was really bad because Hogan couldn't really go at that point. But no, like Brock Lesnar had like a really good showing in this one. He like beat Jeff Hardy in just over 5 minutes, which is obviously pretty impressive. I think Tajiri, I think for what I remember, Tajiri kind of cheated to win his Cruiserweight title match. Should Scott Hall have been beating Bradshaw? Arguably not. Bradshaw was on like a really good trajectory at the time. The Eddie Guerrero and Rob Van Dam match was really good. I mean, Al Snow and Maven going after the tag titles on paper doesn't really look that good. It looks really random. Whether that was the case storyline wise, I'm not sure. And Undertaker defeating Stone Cold Steve Austin is fine, but this was heel American Badass Taker, where he was kind of being even more slow and more melodic with his matches because he was a heel. And he had more issues with Ric Flair than he did Steve Austin going into the match. And yeah, it just really wasn't that good as far as storylines go, in my opinion. But, maybe some of you agree with me, disagree, do put down in the comments. I'm open to having discussions about these things. At the end of the day, it's my opinion. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, or, maybe just my lack of memory of the show kind of is wrong, but I don't know. But yes, moving on to 2003, where Team Angle, so Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin, defeated Los Guerreros, which was Eddie Guerrero and Chavo Guerrero, to retain the WWE Tag Team Championships. Sean O'Haire with Roddy Piper defeated Rikishi. Kane and Rob Van Dam defeated the Dudley Boys, with Chief Morley, also known as Val Venus, was the specialist referee to retain the Tag Team Championships, or the World Tag Team Championships. Jazz defeated Trish Stratus again for the second year in a row to win the Women's Championship. Big Show defeated Rey Mysterio. I think that's the match where I see it more in memes now, where Rey Mysterio is on the stretcher and he throws him into the post after the match. Brock Lesnar defeated John Cena to retain the WWE Championship. Chris Jericho, Ric Flair and Triple H defeated Booker T, Kevin Nash and Shawn Michaels. And Goldberg made his in-ring debut for WWE, defeating The Rock. For me, again, I'm going to put it in meh, if I can find the poster, which is there. Yeah, the Rock and Goldberg match, I don't think is actually any good. I know there was a lot of hype around it, and it was more about the moment of Goldberg making his debut, especially against The Rock, more than the match itself. I'd say the match itself was fine overall. Brock and Cena, again, was fine. A 6-man tag match has been Raw's main event, or at least the big main event with the World Championship on it. Again, was fine, but wasn't particularly anything special. There seems to be a running the running theme going through the show, which was everything was fine, but it wasn't great either, which for me really puts it in meh when it's finished off with a world title match, which was not particularly good. But yeah, so I haven't really got much else to say on that one. I just felt like it could have been so much more as far as the show goes. But luckily, my opinion, when it comes to 2004, I think it's in the best. Now, I know some people might disagree with that massively. I did recently do a review of Backlash 2004, only a few days ago, so do go check that one out. But yeah, we had Shelton Benjamin defeat Ric Flair. Jonathan Coachman defeated Tajiri in what wasn't as bad as a match as it sounds. Chris Jericho defeated Christian and Trish Stratus, and again, in a match that isn't as bad as it sounds. Victoria defeated Lita. Randy Orton defeated Cactus Jack in a hardcore match to retain the Intercontinental Championship. Rosie and the Hurricane defeated La Resistance. Edge defeated Kane, and Chris Benoit defeated Shawn Michaels and Triple H to retain the World Heavyweight Championship. And honestly, I think one of the things that helps this pay-per-view overall for me is the Randy Orton and Cactus Jack match. That is a absolutely classic match in my opinion. It's one of my top 5 favourite matches of all time. But even looking away from that, the triple threat match between Benoit, Triple H and Shawn Michaels is fantastic. It's not as good as their WrestleMania match, but it is very, very good, and probably a very close second to match of the night. Lita and Victoria did very, very well, and their match was actually pretty good for the time that they were given. They were only given just over 7 minutes, and they made it work really well. Jonathan Coachman shocked me watching it back about how good his wrestling was. He was doing arm drags, and he took a brutal double drop kick to the head as well, which was pretty bad. Jericho and Christian and Trish Stratus was good as well. Jericho and Christian for the most part wrestled, but putting those two together is never a bad thing because, well, it's Christian and Chris Jericho. Of course they're going to be good. And yeah, even Shelton Benjamin getting the win over Ric Flair was really good. So for me, there's a lot of positives coming out of this show compared to other backlashes. But yeah, so for me, it is one of the best backlashes I think there have been. It's not one of the best pay-per-views overall in history, but as far as just backlashes go, I thought it was really, really good. The year after, so 2005, Shelton Benjamin defeated Chris Jericho to retain the Intercontinental Championship. Rosie and the Hurricane won a tag team turmoil match to win the World Tag Team Championships. I thought it was for a normal contender shot, but it wasn't. Edge defeated Chris Benoit in a last man standing match. Kane with Lita defeated Viscera with Chris Stratus, which was a weird storyline. Hulk Hogan and Shawn Michaels defeated Daivari and Muhammad Hassan, and Batista defeated Triple H to retain the World Heavyweight Championship. And for me, I'm going to put this one in good. I thought this was a solid pay-per-view. I did watch it fairly recently when it came to like watching Backlash is back, and yeah, like Benjamin and Jericho was really good. The two absolutely solid wrestlers. They were never going to have a bad match. Tag team turmoil matches are pretty good, in fairness. Like, you know, I know some of the teams in there weren't like the most ideal, like ones you definitely think are winning, especially Hurricane and Rosie getting the win as well and becoming the champions. But like, you know, tag team, they're pretty fun because they're just a few short tag team matches and you don't really know who's going to come in next. And there's that element of fun to it. Edge and Benoit having a last man standing match, you know, again, was never going to be a bad thing. Okay, Kane and Viscera, probably not the best match. Like, I remember it not being particularly good, but then, you know, you look at Viscera and he's a pretty slow guy as far as like wrestling goes, but it was fine again for what it was. Hogan and Michaels versus Muhammad Hassan and Daivari was okay. Again, it's Hulk Hogan wrestling that is never going to be good. Shawn was great, Hassan was fine, Daivari was fine. It was just fine overall, but obviously it was all leading up to SummerSlam, so you can understand why they kind of put this on pay-per-view as the attraction of Hulk Hogan. But the match itself was fine, and Triple H and Batista was pretty good as well. Again, you can't really put these two together and them not have a bad match. So yeah, everything for this pay-per-view worked, and that's why it's in good for me. Following that, we have 2006. That's while I wait for it to load. We have Carlito defeating Chris Masters. Umaga I think it was his in-ring debut, I believe, or if it was like one of his bigger matches as far as like him just debuting after WrestleMania. He defeated Ric Flair. Trish Stratus defeated Mickie James by disqualification, meaning Mickie kept the Women's Championship. Rob Van Dam defeated Shelton Benjamin to become the new Intercontinental Champion. Big Show and Kane ended a no contest due to Kane kind of going mental about the whole May 19th thing. Mr. McMahon and Shane McMahon defeated Shawn Michaels and God. And John Cena defeated Edge with Lita and Triple H in a triple threat match. God, that Shawn Michaels and God thing was so funny. For me, I'm going to put this one in good. Again, it's not one of the best ones. If I can find the poster for it, there it is. That Shawn Michaels and God thing is hilarious. It will never not be funny. Van Damme and Shelton Benjamin was a really good match. Obviously, again, very similar thing like with the past few. It's just two solid wrestlers going at it. Even the disqualification match, well, not the match that ended in disqualification between Trish and Mickie was fine for the most part. Umaga looked incredibly good after his debut, and defeating Ric Flair is also a massive rub. And yeah, Cena versus Edge versus Triple H is, again, like just going to be a good match no matter how you look at it, and it was really good. And for me, I probably would have had Edge win that one. It did feel like he was the one who was probably put in the best position to win the World Championship. The build for it was pretty good as well. I remember them kind of doing 2-on-1 handicap matches against each other in every way they could. But yes, as a show itself, it was really good. So, moving on to 2007, we have the Hardy Boys defeating Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch to retain the World Tag Team Championships. Melina defeated Mickie James even to retain the Women's Championship. Chris Benoit defeated MVP to retain the United States Championship. Mr. McMahon, Shane McMahon and Umaga defeated Bobby Lashley in a handicap match. And due to Vince McMahon pinning Bobby Lashley, he became the ECW World Champion. The Undertaker versus Batista ended in a draw due to both men not being able to answer the count of 10 in the last man standing match. And John Cena defeated Edge, Randy Orton and Shawn Michaels to retain the WWE Championship. For me, this match is good as well. I don't want to keep putting good, but these shows are pretty good, in fairness. Taker vs Batista was really good. I remember it being one of the better last man standing matches I've seen. Cena versus Edge versus Orton versus HBK was a great match, and the finish was very cleverly done. I know we've seen it a couple times now on NXT with Ethan Page, and I believe somebody else did it as well, where Shawn Michaels superkicked Cena onto Orton and Cena got the win via like landing on top of him in a pinning position. One of the kind of things that I don't like about this is, of course, Vince McMahon becoming ECW World Champion, kind of laughing at the promotion almost, or at least it seemed that way, and it really turned people the wrong way as far as like the WWE ECW kind of brand goes, because it really shouldn't have been the way they went. Melina versus Mickey was solid. The Hardy versus Kane and Murdoch was fine. So yeah, I said overall pretty decent show, but you know, I don't know what else to say without like just constantly repeating myself. But it was just a really good show, and that's why it's in good. Moving on from that, we have 2008, I believe. I would assume. I'll go back. Let me just make sure I'm definitely on the right place. Yep. Yes, in 2008, we had Matt Hardy defeating MVP for the United States Championship to become the new champion. Kane defeated Chavo Guerrero to retain the ECW Championship. Big Show defeated the Great Khali. Shawn Michaels defeated Batista with Chris Jericho as the special guest referee in that kind of feud that was... yeah, it was a weird feud where like Shawn said he was injured and then he wasn't injured and then he won by cheating, and Chris Jericho didn't like that, which led to the feud with Jericho and Shawn Michaels for the World Heavyweight Championship. We had a 12 Diva tag team match, which was Beth Phoenix, Jillian, Layla, Melina, Natalia and Victoria. They defeated Ashley, Cherry, Kelly Kelly, Maria, Michelle McCool and Mickey James. It was just a way to get the Divas on, all the Divas on the card, essentially. The Undertaker defeated Edge by submission to retain the World Heavyweight Championship, and Triple H defeated JBL, John Cena, and Randy Orton in a Fatal 4-Way match to become the new WWE Championship. For me, I'm going to put this one in meh. This is like, I said, apart from like the Fatal 4-Way match, which was really good. I remember it being quite a good Fatal 4-Way match, though. Would have maybe preferred just a rematch of the Triple Threat match from WrestleMania. Don't know why we had to add JBL back in, other than him just wanting his torch back. I remember that being a big part of the build to it. Undertaker versus Edge, always going to be a solid match. Shawn Michaels and Batista was good until the finish, the whole cheating thing and then making a whole deal of it. I didn't really see the point of it. But Kane versus Chavo was pretty meh. Khali and Big Show was meh. Matt Hardy MVP was fine for the most part. 12 Diva tag match. Having a 12 Diva tag match in 6 minutes is just practically impossible. So yeah, for me it's just a mess show. I don't remember. What am I trying to say here? I don't think about remembering it very fondly, I think is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, that's kind of like the way I've come down to it. Following that, we got 2009. We got Christian defeating Jack Swagger to become the new ECW champion, but it wasn't like the rugged ECW one originally. It's now the big, massive silver one that they had. Chris Jericho defeated Ricky Steamboat in what was a surprisingly good match. I think people forgot how good Ricky Steamboat is, and I feel like it was just like, oh, it's an old guy versus a newer guy. No, Ricky Steamboat could go, and it was actually a pretty decent match. Kane defeated CM Punk. Jeff Hardy defeated Matt Hardy in an I Quit match. Santino Marella defeated Beth Phoenix for the title of Miss WrestleMania. Oh no, it was Santina Marella. Sorry for the quite hard mistake to make. Legacy, so Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton and Ted DiBiase defeated Batista, Shane McMahon and Triple H, and because because Randy Orton pinned Triple H, he became the new WWE champion. But if Triple H or anybody in his team had been disqualified, counted out, pinned or submitted, Orton would win. Yeah, it was a weird one. And then in the last one, we got the last man standing match between Edge defeating John Cena to become the new World Heavyweight Champion, the one where Big Show got involved. For me, this was meh again, unfortunately. Like, to have a 6-man tag match for the WWE Championship is just stupid. I've never understood why that has ever been a thing. Christian versus Jack Swagger was fine. I remember rewatching it with my brother like a couple of years ago. I remember that match. It was just fine. I said Jericho versus Steamboat was good. Kane and Punk was just there. Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy in an I Quit match was pretty good, to be fair. They were very innovative with the weapons, because that was the one where Jeff broke Matt Hardy's hand when he tied him up in the table, and he quit before he eventually put him through the table. Because you wouldn't be a good babyface if you don't put the person through all the pain they're trying to avoid by saying I quit. John Cena and Batista. Santina versus Beth, we don't need to address that as crap. The last man standing match between Cena and Edge was really good, apart from the finish being crap because Edge didn't actually do anything. It was Big Show who won the match for Edge. And yeah, this is my match, I said already, just isn't any good when it's for a singles title. Never really understood why they do that. But either way. And then we took a kind of massive gap between backlashes. The last one, of course, being 2009. We didn't see this again until 2016 after the brand extension draft. And yeah, this was just full of championships essentially. So we had Becky Lynch defeating Alexa Bliss, Carmella, Naomi, Natalya and Nikki Bella in a 6-pack elimination challenge to become the first ever SmackDown Women's Champion. We had the second chance tag team match. The winning team would qualify in the tag team tournament to get into the final. It's all the kind of thing where the Usos defeated the Hype Bros, which is Mojo Rawley and Zack Ryder. The Miz with Maurice defeated Dolph Ziggler in what was a very good match, but not as good as the one they had at No Mercy. Bray Wyatt defeated Randy Orton via forfeit, and then Kane came out, and then they had a no holds barred match, which Kane won, because that makes sense. I think it did have Randy Orton involvement, at least I would assume so. I can't massively remember this one. Heath Slater and Rhino defeated the Usos to become the inaugural SmackDown Tag Team Champions, and AJ Styles defeated Dean Ambrose to become the new WWE Champion. Now, for me, the Dean Ambrose and AJ Styles match is really, really good. Like, it's probably one of the better matches in Backlash history, but obviously it did have a bit of a shitty finish, but I didn't really take that away from the match. It was very, very good. Miz vs Ziggler was great. Their feud in 2016 is an all-timer. If you haven't gone and seen any of it, do go watch it. It is very, very good. The 6-pack challenge was fun. I feel like people don't talk about it enough. Any kind of 6-pack challenge, especially when it's elimination, is actually pretty good. The 2 tag team matches were fine. The moment of Heath Slater winning with Rhino, I felt like overshadowed the 2 matches. Kane and Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton stuff was coming off the whole WrestleMania 33 match. Was it coming off that actually? I feel like it was. I feel like Wyatt was champion going into no, because Styles was champion. I don't know, maybe I confused myself. But either way, it all really was silly bollocks, and for me it was too silly not to dislike, not to like, in my opinion. Sorry, I'm stumbling over my words a lot. For me, I'm gonna put it in okay. Like the Styles, Ambrose, Ziggler, Miz match and the women's 6-pack challenge kind of help it, but then, you know, the Wyatt stuff kind of lets it down a bit. And yeah, it was an okay show from what I can remember for the most part. Moving on to 2017 with Nakamura on the front, so I remember which one to use as the tier goes. We have Shinsuke Nakamura defeating Dolph Ziggler. I think that was just after he'd been called up. And yeah, like any good feud, if you're not feuding with Dolph Ziggler, you haven't really properly been called up. The Usos defeated Breezango to retain the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Sami Zayn defeated Baron Corbin. The Welcoming Committee, which was Carmella, Natalya and Tamina. Yeah, that was a weird time. They defeated Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair and Naomi. Kevin Owens defeated AJ Styles via countout to retain the United States Championship. Luke Harper defeated Eric Rowan, and Jinder Mahal did probably one of the biggest shocks in WWE history in defeating Randy Orton to become the new WWE Champion. For me, it's very bad. It's really bad. Like, I remember the Nakamura and Ziggler match being fine, but like Zayn and Corbin wasn't great. The Usos match was fine, but Breezango, they were never going to be a threat to the titles. 6-woman tag match with the Welcoming Committee winning, I thought was insane. I remember watching it live. Kevin Owens winning via countout sucks. Jinder Mahal winning the title was like so unexpected. It was like, it got so much like, you know, they did the whole panning to the crowd and all the shocked reactions that they did like for the streak. But yeah, that was insane. And then Harper versus Rowan, I'm sure was fine. I don't remember it even being on the show, but yeah, just as a show itself, like even looking back at it, it is just bad. Like you just can't help but look at it and be like, oh, and just like, yeah, for me, it just had no appeal to it at all. I look at it and it didn't make me want to I didn't look at the show here and think, oh, I definitely want to go and check that out again. Yeah, nothing like that. It was pretty bad. So we move on to 2018. 2018. Seth Rollins defeated The Miz to retain the Intercontinental Championship. Nia Jax defeated Alexa Bliss to retain the Raw Women's Championship. Jeff Hardy defeated Randy Orton to retain the United States Championship. Daniel Bryan defeated Big Cass. Carmella defeated Charlotte Flair to retain the SmackDown Women's Championship. AJ Styles vs Shinsuke Nakamura ended in a draw in a no disqualification match because that happened. Bobby Lashley, Braun Strowman and defeated Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and Roman Reigns defeated Samoa Joe. It's really hard to make a case for this again. For me, I'm going to put it in bad again. I know it might seem really harsh, but just look through the card. Rollins and Miz, I'm sure, was a great match, probably the better match of the card. Jackson Bliss, Jess had just won the title, of course she was going to defeat Bliss. Hardy defeating Randy Orton, I'm sure was fine. These are two solid legends of WWE. I can't imagine it was a bad match. I remember I feel like this resulted in the Hell in a Cell match they had maybe, where Randy Orton did that thing with his ear, which was disgusting. Daniel Bryan and Big Cass, none of their matches were good. I remember specifically thinking that, being reminded by this, that none of their matches were really any good. Carmella defeating Charlotte Flair was good as far as Carmella's momentum went, but I don't remember the match being a classic maybe as it should have been. Nakamura and Styles ending a no DQ match in a draw is almost impressively bad. Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn was meh. I don't remember it being any good. Roman Reigns defeating Samoa Joe is it makes sense as far as Roman Reigns goes. I'm sure the match was fine. Samoa Joe really should have been winning that match though. It's Samoa Joe at the end of the day. I'm pretty sure he had the better of Roman Reigns throughout that time period. And it would have massively helped out Samoa Joe as far as his whole career goes. So for me, again, probably the wrong results and some really massively put together matches that didn't need to be. It just kind of was a bit confusing. 2019 there wasn't a Backlash, and then we move on to the pandemic, which is again going to be really difficult to make a case for. But of course we had the greatest match ever in the world ever, which was Randy Orton defeating Edge. That was the main event, but we had Bayley and Sasha Banks defeating Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss and the Iconics in a triple threat women's tag team match to retain the women's tag team championships. Sheamus defeated Jeff Hardy, where their feud, which was when Sheamus targeted Jeff's sobriety, it ended up in a pub brawl match. It wasn't great. The feud wasn't great. I remember the match was fine for what it was. Asuka and Nia Jax ended a double count out for the Raw Women's Championship, which Asuka retained. Again, double count outs. There's only one thing worse than a count out victory, and that ends in a double count out. And especially between Nia Jax. Nia Jax, I don't think is ever going to have a pretty good match. To be fair, that's not true. She had a pretty good match with Bayley at Bad Blood. This wasn't great. Braun Strowman defeated John Morrison and The Miz in a 2-1 handicap match for the Universal Championship. That wasn't very good either. It was just Braun Strowman destroying Miz and Morrison for the most part for 7 minutes. Drew McIntyre defeated Bobby Lashley with MVP to retain the WWE Championship, which was fine. Bobby Lashley and the Drew McIntyre Bobby Lashley feud was pretty good. I remember it being pretty good, and it lasted I know here it's Backlash, but to be fair, this lasted for a while, and obviously Bobby Lashley will go on and take the WWE title from Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. But this was a decent match, and the greatest match of all time ever in the world, going 45 minutes nearly between Randy Orton and Edge, was bad. Well, I don't know. It wasn't a bad match. It was just really long. It was almost impressive that they went longer than the Last Man Standing match they had at WrestleMania. That's the only thing I remember about the match, other than it being fine for what it was. It was just really, really stupidly long. For me, the pay-per-view was bad. It just was. And it's not just because of the no crowd. The no crowd did not help it at all, to be fair. But this really wasn't that good. Then we move on to 2021, where we had Rhea Ripley defeating Asuka and Charlotte Flair to retain the Raw Women's Championship. Rey and Dominic Mysterio defeated Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, the Dirty Dogs, to win the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Damian Priest defeated The Miz in a zombie lumberjack match, which is probably the biggest talking point from this show. It's the one thing that everyone does remember. Bianca Belair defeated Bayley in what was a pretty decent match, to be fair. I remember that one really well. Bobby Lashley defeated Braun Strowman and Drew McIntyre to retain the WWE Championship, which again was a pretty decent match. And in what was a glimmer of hope for us all, Cesaro was in the main event of a pay-per-view for the WWE Universal Championship, and he lost to Roman Reigns by a technical submission, it says on here, in what was nearly half an hour, which is pretty good for Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. For me, this was okay. This was like, this was meh. Obviously, Rhea Ripley defeating Asuka was pretty good. Dominic and Rey getting the win was fine, but it's Rey Mysterio winning a title in like 2021, which is mid. The Zombie Lumberjack match was shit. It just was. That's it. That's all I've got to say about it. I'm not even going to address that much. Bianca and Bayley was absolutely fine. But actually, no, it wasn't fine. It was a pretty good match. The short throw match was fine as well, and Roman versus Cesaro was really good. It was just a case of Cesaro didn't do anything after this. Everyone was hoping that he was going to become like a main eventer more often. That was 100% not the case and was never going to be the case. And yeah, it just gave everyone that glimmer of hope that was killed immediately. Which was a massive shame. But yeah, for me, it was just meh. The results were pretty fine. But yeah, I just remember it not being that good, even though like some of the matches should have been a lot better. Then we move on to 2022, just after WrestleMania 38, or it would have been WrestleMania Backlash, I guess. But a bit of a more limited card at this point. We had Cody Rhodes defeating Seth Rollins in the rematch from WrestleMania, which was one of the better matches in Backlash history. Omos with MVP defeated Bobby Lashley, because MVP showing that he is very much an intellectual, where he sided with Omos after Bobby Lashley won at WrestleMania. Edge defeated AJ Styles with Damian Priest barred from ringside, but Rhea I think got involved in the match that kind of furthered the Judgment Day storyline. Ronda Rousey defeated Charlotte Flair in an I Quit Women's match, which was crap. And it was, I hated it so much. The fact that Ronda was winning again, hated it. Madcap Moss defeated Happy Corbin in a match that I couldn't even remember. I didn't even realise that happened until right now. And the Bloodline, so the Usos and Roman Reigns defeated Drew McIntyre and they defeated RK Bro in a fine 6-man tag match. For me, I'm going to put it in okay. Yeah, it was just fine for what it was. Again, like Omos defeating Bobby Lashley, probably like it makes sense if they then pushed Omos, but they didn't. Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins was an absolutely fantastic match. Ronda and Charlotte was meh. Edge and Styles probably should have been better, but again, the interference and that kind of stuff kind of helped Edge out. Madcap Moss and Corbin, don't even remember. And the 6-man tag match was fine from what I can remember. So yeah, for me, it was meh, or it was okay, sorry. I feel like the match between Cody and Seth massively helps that. But yeah, I don't know what else to really say about this one. And we move on to 2023, the Puerto Rico show, which for me, without even looking at the card, because I remember this one like it was yesterday, is in the best. I absolutely love this pay-per-view. We start off with an absolutely fantastic match between Bianca Belair and Io Sky, Seth Rollins and Omos. This for me was another example of how Seth Rollins can't have a bad match with anyone really. The fact that he got a half decent match out of Omos, as much as the match was very surprising when it got announced, yeah, it was a pretty decent match. Theory defeated Bobby Lashley and Bronson Reed to retain the United States Championship. If you'll put in, it's just a bit of like history just in case this ever happens again. If you put Bobby Lashley in a match with Theory that is a triple threat match, Bobby's 100% losing. Like, I think there was like multiple times this year, as in like in 2023, where Lashley was put in a triple threat match with Theory and Theory would always win and it'd always be for the US title. It was really bizarre, but yeah, it was just like they said, that match was pretty good. Rhea versus Zelina was surprisingly good. I feel like a lot of people, as they probably would, they wrote off Zelina pretty quickly going into this one. It made sense that she had the match because of the Puerto Rico stuff. But no, she put on a really good performance against Rhea, and yeah, it was a pretty decent match. Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest in the San Juan street fight is really, really good. Like, again, another one that kind of was very surprising. I feel like people quite easily forget how good Bad Bunny is as a wrestler. And yeah, no, it was a really fun match to watch. I think in my top 10 matches, it made top 3. Like, it was a very, very good match. The Bloodline, which was Solo Sikoa, Jay, and Jimmy Uso, defeated Matt Riddle, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn in a match that I forgot about, to be fair. Again, similar to Corbin and my Cat Moss, I completely forgot that match even happened. And of course, Cody Rhodes defeated Brock Lesnar after the whole turn thing on the Raw after WrestleMania, which everyone thought they were going to see a dream tag match, and then Brock just killed Cody. I feel like this is the match as well where, I might be wrong, it might be that rematch, where Cody broke Brock's face in the turnbuckle. That was grim. I actually saw the turnbuckle go into his head. It was awful. But no, yeah, that as a feud was really good. And yeah, like I say, this is just a fantastic pay-per-view. Things just worked out really well here. The crowd was incredible for this one as well. And yeah, like say, everything about this is just great. I have nothing bad to say about this pay-per-view, hence why I put it up in the best. And then finally, we have Backlash France from last year. And yeah, the card, there's the one match that really sticks out for me here. But we had the Bloodline, which was Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga. They defeated Kevin Owens and Randy Orton in a very good street fight. For me, I actually put this as match of the night on my review, and I stand by it, as much as I know what some people are going to say about that, but I felt like it was the best match of the night. Bayley defeated Naomi and Tiffany Stratton to retain the WWE Women's Championship in what was a decent match, but it felt like a botched finish. It felt like something went wrong with Naomi and Bayley, and this was kind of the first sign of Tiffany Stratton in the main event scene. And man, what a year she's had between now and then. Defeating Charlotte Flair, becoming Women's Champion, winning Money in the Bank, all that kind of stuff is great. Damian Priest defeated Jey Uso to retain the World Heavyweight Championship. Again, Priest had just won the title. I didn't think Priest was going to lose it here, but Jey was like only on like the cusp of his popularity, nothing like how he is now. But yeah, kind of funny how that works out with Jey challenging one year and being the champion the next year. Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill defeated the Kabuki Warriors to win the Women's Tag Team Championships. Yeah, it was a match that was pretty good. I think this is the one where Jade Cargill slipped on the ropes, which I know isn't the best thing to remember about this match. But the match overall was really good. And then we have this bloody main event, the Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles match, which I just don't understand how it got 5 stars. I don't understand how people see this as one of the best matches of all time. Like, I don't remember it that well. I don't remember it being that good. Like, I would have said that Io versus Bianca the year before was probably better than this match. And, you know, that didn't get probably anywhere near 5 stars. It was just really weird. I find it really, like, even to this day, very confusing why that match got 5 stars and why it's received so like, well. Like, it was a great match, don't get me wrong. But to have it in, like, the upper echelon of matches, I really don't understand. But I am going to put it in the position of the top of good. The Jey Uso Priest match was good. The tag team match was fine. Bayley and that, if it hadn't been for the botch finish, would have been really good. But the street fight opener and the main event were very, very good matches. So that's why it's going to go in the top of good for me. But yeah, do put down in the comments below what you think of my overall list, and just any of the matches overall, you know, just anything you want to talk about, really. But yeah, so yes, they are my ranked Backlash pay-per-views. Do put down in the comments below, like I said, your thoughts on the tier list itself and where you would put things as far as the tier goes. And yeah, do comment below and leave a like if you enjoy these tier list videos. I will do more of them if you want to see them. Again, with Money in the Bank around the corner, a lot of opportunities to do tier lists. You know, as I said, as far as cash-ins, the ladder matches themselves could be tier listed, the pay-per-views could be tier listed. So yeah, do let me know, and yeah, do like the video, do share, do subscribe, do all that good stuff. Go check out the second channel, the Random Retrospective It is linked down below in the description. There's going to be stuff like music reviews, film reviews, TV reviews, football stuff, all kinds of stuff on the channel coming up, so do go check that out. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.